The Boston Bruins have just sent a serious message to their training camp roster, and this will have a major implication on who will make this team come the regular season and who will not. I'm going to be talking about this message, what they have to say, and how this will impact this roster, as well as we have a brutal injury update from one of my top prospects on the Boston Bruins, and someone who the Bruins fans and community have very high expectations on in this training camp. So I'm going to be talking about all of this news that we have here today. Before we get into this news, though, we know that 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join me here on this channel as we cover everything Boston Bruins related. We're nearly at 4K, so if we can hit that before the beginning of the regular season, that would be absolutely unreal. But without any further ado, let's get into this major topic that we have here to start off this video, which is a serious message that was sent by the Bruins. Don Sweeney and Jim Montgomery have not held their silence about what they want to see from this team in training camp. And it's no secret to anybody that this training camp roster is a very good one. And we know the Bruins, what they seen last year, what we've seen in the training camp last year, a lot of people were expecting this team to really take a major hit, and especially last season to be a very, very bad team. And now that was the exact opposite. We didn't see the ultimate success in the playoffs, but we've seen what we wanted to see. And with this new message from Don Sweeney and Jim Montgomery, we are going to have some big changes to the roster. So this is what they had to say. Early on, talking about head coach of the Bruins, Jim Montgomery, is going to want the training camp to be a certain pace. If bigger guys can't keep up, they're not going to play. And this is one major thing that we've seen the Bruins trying to do, is get bigger, get stronger, and become those big bad Bruins of the past. They're trying to bring that back, and they've seen it work so far from what we've seen last season, and are hoping to get more of that come this season with the addition of Nikita Zadorov. But that don't mean they're looking for just size. They're looking for just physicality. They still want this team to be able to keep up with the modern-day NHL pace, which is definitely an issue for some bigger guys in the NHL nowadays, but still a lot of players that are adjusting to the modern day game, still big, still using their size, but have that sense of speed as well that they need to have going into an NHL game. And that's one thing that Jim Montgomery and Don Sweeney, as I mentioned, have voiced their opinion on that they want to have in this game. We've seen Justin Brazeau last season, a very big player, a very physical player, but still use his feet. That's what they're looking for. They don't want to have this roster become super slow, super sluggish, and really just kind of get beat in every scenario, especially with the ongoing uncertainty of Jeremy Swayman going into our first regular season game. If we do see a Jonas Korpisalo starting game one of the regular season, we could have a few issues there. So, especially with this scenario right now, but even if Jeremy Swayman does end up in the crease in game one, you're still going to need to have that size, but you absolutely cannot lack that pace, that speed of a modern day game, especially with guys like Connor McDavid around now. There is going to be some issues if you do not have that speed along with the size. But let's pull up our training camp roster here, just to kind of go over what we have, what we're looking at right now. And as you can see, there are many big guys that on this roster here that we've seen last year. And, you know, some of those do include Brandon Carlo. Well, I shouldn't even mention the defense. The entire defense is absolutely gigantic. But on the offensive side, Mark Kastelic, Trent Frederic, Justin Brazeau, you know, those are some of the guys who, you know, we've seen before already in an NHL roster, already in an NHL mindset that are using their size and speed. But with a lot of these younger guys as well, they're going to have to put on some muscle. That's one thing they've voiced as well, that they want to see the skinnier guys or the smaller guys who have that speed already get just that much bit bigger, but they absolutely cannot lack what they have been already knowledgeable in and what has worked for them in the past. So ultimately, what I think this message is really sending is just kind of, nobody has a roster spot yet. They want to send that message. They want to clarify that, especially to these younger guys like Fabian Lysell, Georgi Markulov, who are still trying to earn that spot. There's an open spot, but really, it could go to anybody. So they're trying to put that in the mindset that this is not at all done yet. They still have to earn this. They still have to get ready for it. And I think that's just another way of putting it and kind of reiterating it to the team in an indirect way. So let me know what you think about this update, this quote here from Jim Montgomery, Don Sweeney, what their thoughts are, and what you guys think about this. But let's head on to our second topic here, which is another one to do with training camp, and one of the defensemen that I've spoken about a lot recently, and this comes from Jackson Edward. And apparently, or I shouldn't say apparently, it is confirmed that he has been injured and will be out 7 to 10 days. A major, major hit to his chances on this training camp roster. A guy that really, in my mind, could have been that 7th defenseman along with Parker Wotherspoon, an A and B situation, but almost guaranteed would have been our 8th. And this is what we have here on this front of this. From Scott McLaughlin, Sweeney confirms that Alec Regula will miss the start of the season, or start of camp, an off-season knee surgery, but Jackson Edward will miss 7 to 10 days after recently suffering an upper body injury. And from what we've been seeing, reports from him coming out of training camp already and rookie camp, fans are loving him. Analysts are loving him. His style of play is a Boston Bruin, and he, with many reports, are being compared to Nikita Zadorov. So having 2 Nikita Zadorovs on a team like this, a team that's trying to get bigger, trying to get stronger, back to what they were, Jackson Edward is that guy. And a few videos ago, if you do recall, Adam McQuaid said he was the fabric of a Bruin. So that just goes to continue and show how good he has been in this training camp, how highly thought of he is in the Bruins organization. And having this 7 to 10 day miss, although it's not in a full training camp, it still is quite a bit that is going to take away from him being able to prove how good he is and how ready he is for an NHL roster. But when he does come back, and when he does come back healthy, I'm very confident that he will regain that spot very, very quick. I'm going to pull up a few screenshots here of what people have been saying about him here. First off, Dominic Tiano. Jackson Edward will one day be a fan favorite and will probably win the NESN 7th Player Award because of his popularity. And there's another example of how highly thought of he is in the Bruins community, not just the team, as I mentioned, and his play style of being the cut of a Bruin, I guess is a good way of putting it. And, the injury obviously does suck. It'll happen, but you have to go through these things to build up adversity to get to the point where you want to be. A lot of these star players that we've seen in the NHL on the Bruins who are a physical player do get hurt, but that's a part of it. You're not going to get hurt if you don't play physical, and if you don't play physical, you're going to get hurt. It's kind of the two sides of a coin that you're going to have one or the other. So having Jackson Edward as a physical player, obviously getting hurt sucks, but it's part of the job. It's going to happen, and having it happen now rather than at the peak of where he was, a yes or a no for this roster, it's better to have it happen now than prove himself later on. So once again, it sucks to see, but I'm excited to have him come back and do good once again. Another tweet here from Dominic Tiano. So the Bruins wish to continue to develop Jackson Edward as a left shot defenseman who plays the right sizes. I'm okay with that. Another example of how good he is in any type of scenario. They're playing him on the right side as a left-handed defenseman. Normally, left-handed shot, left D, right-handed shot, right D, but obviously you can switch those as many times you like, whatever situation suits the player best and whatnot. So having Jackson Edward as this kind of Swiss Army knife in both scenarios, which ultimately he's not going to be sticking on the right side forever. He's going to play a little bit of left and whatnot. There's a lot of potential behind this kid. I'm very, very high on him. I do suggest keeping a very close eye on him. Or if you don't want to do that, just hit the sub button. Join me here on this channel. I'll be keeping you guys update with everything Bruins related, and as well as probably one of my favorite prospects in the system now, Jackson Edwards. So that's all I got for this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I am signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.